Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. This is Real Talk Corner, where conversation sparks change and every voice matters. On this beautiful Tuesday evening, it is the 27th day in the month of January in the year 2026. Hello, people. The month of January is almost to a close. Is time flying or running? Which one is it? But let me say good evening to all my viewers. Um, I am yours truly, Dr. Esther Cruickshank. My co-host is going to be joining me at some point in time this evening, and I'm happy about that. But I want to really say thank you again to all the viewers, those who comment, whether it's negative or positive. You are as important. So those of you who send the negative comments, I welcome you as well, because you know what? It keeps me in check and it lets me know how foolish some of us are. But nevertheless, we are here to empower, to speak the truth. It's called Real Talk, and we have a whole lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that we get through with everything. But so much has been happening, and I really, 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 really want to say thank you to our Honorable Prime Minister, the one and only Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisasa, SCMP. This woman is absolutely brilliant. She is doing such a fantastic job. She and her government. Amen to those of you. We would continue to pray for God's grace, mercy, and strength. But I came here tonight to deal with some things, right? And it's not everything that one may say that everybody would agree with. But tonight I really want to, before I get into it, I want to send some shout out to this wonderful lady I met at the Flavor event. Her name is Gail Samuel. So I'm shouting out Gail Samuel. She says that she follows us, Real Talk Corner. So I want to say thank you for joining in and for sharing the live. Also, I want to say thank you to Mr. Whiteman, who I met at Price Mart in Mausika. Yes. And who said that, he was scrolling through and he saw us and he was, really paying attention. So Mr. Whiteman from Movan area, Santa Cruz, as a matter of fact, hello and good night, and thank you for joining in. Thank you for looking at us, share the live always. And also one of our listeners, Mr. Farmer, thank you. Thank you for always joining in. And for all the others who join in, all of our, commenters and those of you who say good, bad in between, those of you who just like and share, thank you so much. The message is going out, it's being shared, and that is most important. We want to let you all know what is taking place in our country, and of course, what the UNC government is doing for our nation, Trinidad and Tobago. Help is around the corner for those of you who still feel helpless. Hope is around the corner for those of you who still feel hopeless. And let me tell you, the mighty healer, our Prime Minister, have some more work to do. She has some more healing work to do. Now is with the teaching, with the teachers. And I want to say something to you teachers. It's not all of you are like that. Those of you who call in sick and those of you who playing stupid with stupidness, listen, under the PNM, they was only giving all your 5% and all your shut up. All they didn't say anything. But now, after the healing virtue of our Prime Minister has covered you all, you can speak, you are seeing and you are hearing and you want to make trouble. No make trouble, because remember, she could cause all you to become dumb. Okay? So please, do what you have to do. Just imagine the teachers listen, they have vacation on summertime. They have vacation in December. They have it in Easter. What more you want? And I saw that they are considering giving you all 10%. So what it is all you're making noise for? The PNM had all your under control. What is wrong with you all teachers? And I know this is not for all the teachers, because I know of teachers who work hard, and for those of you who would have stayed home today, there are those who had to pick up the slack. Don't you all think it's not fair for those who had to pick up the slack who were there? And you know, the irony of all these people, look at them. When they rushed to accept 5% from the PNM before election, they didn't have the flu, they didn't get sick. So those of you who get sick, I think the Prime Minister have to come and lay her hands upon you all. She have to come and lay her hands on all you, because all you get the flu. So when she lay her hands upon you all, you would be healed. All you're playing with the children's future in this country. You all need to stop and behave all yourself, no man. Behave all yourself. All you can't see the things that is happening. Tonight I want to share some of those things that this government is doing for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And you know, they really say, some of us be so ungrateful. It's because all you hate our Prime Minister so much. Listen, when Dr. Rowley was the Prime Minister under the PNM regime, he was the Prime Minister, you know. Those of us who suffer under him, those of us who benefited, those who over-benefited, he was the Prime Minister. So if all you don't like it, this Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar is the Prime Minister, and she's the Prime Minister for those of you who are still suffering and you feel there is no hope. Hope is going to come. She's the Prime Minister for those who have already got through with whatever, and it's going to remain like that. She is the Prime Minister to bring hope, to bring back the this economy in Trinidad and Tobago in a better light. Listen, you all have to have patience, and you all have to stop being ungrateful. It have no other Prime Minister as Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar that have ever gone through the parliament in this country and did what she did, not only for the mothers, for the children, for the fathers, for everybody. And right now, you all are not paying attention. You're making the PNM Balize juice fall in all your eyes and blind all you. So come on, children, come and let her lay her hands upon you all so you could see, because all you're not seeing. And come, bring your ears, let her touch it so that you all would be able to hear, because you all are not seeing and you're not hearing. You all are not experiencing what is taking place in this country. There's a breeze, a wind of prosperity, a wind of lightness that is taking control right now. Have some patience. Stop murmuring. Stop complaining. Relax. Have faith in God. You understand? She have told me that on more than one occasion. Have faith in God. Things is going to get better. In the year 2010 to 2015, things were getting better. But you know what? All you take chain up from the PNM. All you take chain up and little stupid things with but the banana and the blank man and the black man and whatever, the Oreo. All you make a foolish decision, and all you suffer for a decade. And now, like you want, I mean, she laying hands and people getting healed. Their eyes are opening and their ears are plucking open so they can hear. But at the same time, she ain't no magic wand. She can't wave no magic wand. She's not a magician, and she is not God. She is a woman with a heart of compassion. She's a woman who put God in front and walk behind. And yes, I am saying things is going to get better for those of you who are still in a situation that you're not comfortable. But here is some consolation. When the PNM came into power after 2015, and told you all to ban your belly, eat provision, things is, get ready for a rough ride. All you wasn't complaining like all you're complaining now. It is 9 months, going on 10 months, the UNC government has been in power. And there is so much that has been accomplished already, and so much before the year end in April. There is so much that is going to be happening. I'm going to share some with you all tonight. And the truth is, all you need to suck it up, you know, because we ain't going nowhere. When we decide we're going to leave, and we will not decide that, I hope. But I'm saying to you all tonight, it is going to get better. Have faith in God and have faith in our Prime Minister, who is not greedy, but is here to make life better for every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Do not allow the propaganda National Party to make you all get dumb and deaf and blind. Do not allow that. Open your eyes and see. Your eyes have miraculously been opened. Your ears have been miraculously popped up, open. Your mouth, you now can speak. For those of you who couldn't speak before, for those of you who couldn't kneel and lift your hands and praise the Lord for good life, you all are doing it now. So hear what? Continue to have faith. Continue to have patience. Wait. Be of good courage. The Lord is going to strengthen your heart, and he's going to make ways so that you would be able to stand. Things is happening. Our producer, let's go to one of our clips tonight.
Which one you want?
I think I want to deal with the divers. Good news first. All the good news coming first. Yeah, with Young. With Young.
Let the manager tell us what the plan is and what is going on. As I told you all a short while ago, there can be no guarantee and no assurance. The assurance we need to get is that they're doing everything possible to find your loved ones. Alright?
So they're working now?
Well, yeah, they're working. It's not these people here supposed to be doing it. They're working. And that is one thing I was clear on. Do not let the people.
That's so nice. You could smile and this. That's very nice.
Alright?
You had a nice.
This is what we had before, yeah? This is what we had before, making joke, people losing their loved ones, okay? And this is what we had. They had no heart of compassion. They didn't care about the people's family who were dying. They were not given any consolation. But here it is. We were exposed to seeing that this caring government under the leadership of our Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar, giving the family the family $1 million. The one who, the gentleman who, what was his full name? Boudram. Christopher Boudram and his family received $1 million. And I am happy. Look how many years has passed and the PNM gave them nothing. They were like beggars. You understand? Everybody giving them a little hamper who feeling pity and whatever. Not our Prime Minister. $1 million so they can at least feel a sense of relief. I mean, $1 million is like, what, 100,000 today or whatever. But at least they would be able to do something for themselves. And I must say again, thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you for the heart that you have. Thank you for being such a caring individual, a caring citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, one who really reached out to persons who are in need. This woman have been, giving. They might say it's not her money, it's government money, but when the PNM was in power, what they were doing, they were taking the government, the money of the citizens and pocketing it. But this is a woman with a heart of compassion. Some people don't like me to say it, but she is a woman with a heart after God because she's concerned, she's caring, she is not selfish and she's not greedy, taking people's money and putting it in her pocket. That's not what she's about. She's about ensuring that every citizen live a life that is second to none in their own real position. That is what she's all about. And I just want to say hats off to you, Madam Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister. You could see the joy in these people's heart, knowing that, oh my God, after all these years, I now can find a little relief to pay some bills, to do something that is going to help us. So grateful. I am thankful. I think my co-host has joined me. And I want you to listen to her, the Honorable Prime Minister, before we bring, okay, Christopher
to
Boudram,
someone else.
yes.
We need to work together, learn from it as we move forward.
On behalf of my friends, brothers who was in the pipe, and his family and mine, we'd like to tell the Honorable Prime Minister, thank you very much. We really appreciate this gesture. I don't have enough words. I'm not usually one to be lost for words, but right now I'm a bit lost. I don't have enough words to say how much this will help each and every one of us. It has been 4 years. 25th of February will be 4 years now that this tragic incident has happened, and God know that it wasn't easy. And thank you to you and your government for helping us.
Thank you. This is Christopher Boudram, who is giving his appreciation to the Prime Minister on behalf of his family and himself and those who would have lost their lives. And I too, I am overjoyed that they have gotten this relief. This, what he said, nobody knew it was so hard. And I could identify with that. It would have been really tough when you go through crises in your life and there is no one to help you and assist you. 4 years would have seemed to be a decade for him and his family, but he received some help, and I know that that is not all that our Honorable Prime Minister would do for them. Knowing the kind of person she is, I know she's going to do more for them. All right, so on behalf of them, we are saying thank you. Real Talk Corner is saying thank you to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for reaching out and helping this family. Let me welcome my co-host tonight. I missed her so much. The one and only look at the bubbly face. Hadassa Charles McClure. Welcome back, my girl.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be on. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago, to our Real Talk Corner audience. It's always such a pleasure to share this hour with you and for us to discuss the things that are happening in our country. I feel like I jumped on at a really good time because I jumped on in the middle of some really good news. When I heard it, I can't say how happy it made me. I remember I met Christopher about 4 years ago, a little after the incident happened, and I too really want to thank the Prime Minister for attempting to make these families whole. I was down Point of Pear when the incident happened, when Stuart Young and was the guy Mr. Mustafa were bullshitting the families and making them believe that something was being done to help save their loved ones when in fact nothing was done. We actually learned that they had closed the lid so that nobody could go back down to attempt a rescue, and those men were left to die. And it was, I think, one of the most heartbreaking things I had experienced in my life. Also, I remember that it was carnival time and the country didn't stop. Nobody didn't care. Trinidadians were more concerned about their carnival and their wine and jam. And of course, to each his own. I'm not judging anybody, but I'm just saying that it was tragic for these families because they were alone. They were alone. Stuart Young showed up days after Keith Rowley could not be reached. I understand that he was in Tobago playing golf. It was such a sad time, and it is so good to now be under the governance of a competent government, of a caring government, um, led by Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa, because you need compassionate leaders, you need leaders with heart and with feeling who can try to meet you halfway when devastating things like this happen. And I am really happy. I'm really happy for the families of these divers. Like I said, this $1 million is not going to make them whole, but there is something about a gesture that says to somebody, "I see you, and you are seen, and we are here with you." And the PNM government was not interested at all in making any such gesture. As a matter of fact, Christopher Boudram talked about the fact that their tragedy was used as a campaign gimmick. Stuart Young said weeks before the election that they were going to give all the families $1 million. And of course, we know nothing came of that, right? So, on top of them not responding the way that they were supposed to initially, they used their tragedy to try to win an election. All of it was terrible. So to be under this type of governance that is really about people-centered governance, I cannot tell you how much this has warmed my heart. So I want to say thank you to the Prime Minister, and I really hope that these families would now start to be able to pick up their lives and move on. And may God bless them all. Back to you, Esther.
Definitely. I really agree with what you are saying. I'm just trying to share some stuff here. But listen, I mean, it is amazing when you have leadership that is the aptitude, or what is the word I want to put there? She's one of a kind. She helps those who are in need and deserve her help. But not only that, she is doing everything in her power together with her ministers to ensure that the citizens of this country have a better lifestyle in the coming years. And while everybody, especially the propaganda national movement, is doing everything to try to create this lack of confidence in our Prime Minister by the people, they will fail. Because soon and very soon, everybody's going to see what is taking place in this country. And it is not going to deter her from doing what has to be done. I was just informed that the ZOSO bill has failed in the parliament because, of course, the senators, the independent senators, 8 of them vote against it. And you know what that tells me? They don't like you all. If Trinidad and Tobago citizens, those of you who have encountered or who have been touched by murder and by criminal activity, have lost your loved ones, has lost your loved ones by the hands of criminals, if you would continue to say you're supporting the PNM and the foolishness, I tell you, they don't like us, you know. Just imagine. And this is why the Prime Minister said they're no independent senators. They are PNM senators, okay? They are PNM senators. This is why they could have voted against the bill. They haven't given this a chance. It is the first initiative that is in Trinidad. We saw that it had worked in Jamaica, and they refused to support it. The PNM is supporting nothing that the UNC is putting in power. Nothing. They care about the citizens. You really think that they care? The PNM is supporting nothing that the UNC government is putting in place for the citizens. And you also dumb. You need to listen. I don't want to get hyper. I want to remain calm. But something like this, they love the crime. They love it. They're not supporting anything that is going to work for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. This PNM government, the PNM senators, all of them is a bunch of wicked people. They don't like you all. They shouldn't even be inside of there. I don't know why you all didn't vote out the whole PNM. They are not supporting anything to support you. Those of you who have lost loved ones by the hands of criminals, they like it so. They don't want the people on George Street to be able to go across to the other streets. You understand? They like crime. It seems as though criminal activity is a pleasure and money-making thing for the PNM, because they don't support nothing good for our citizens. Whatever this government put in place, they are not supporting it. You all continue to keep your eyes open and see what is going on. And all the naysayers, even though this have not passed today, I know our Prime Minister would find a way or find something that is going to be able to curb the criminal activities and the murders in this country. But for the PNM, all you look out, plenty of you all will drop down, because all you're wicked. The wicked will not last. They will disappear like dry leaves. They're going to the Psalm 37, read it and see what it said. They are wicked. They're not concerned about the citizens, or else they would have done something to allow the ZOSO to be bill to pass so that we can start doing something for the citizens. But don't worry, people of Trinidad and Tobago. Trust God and trust our Prime Minister. She is going to get something done. Something is going to happen to safeguard our citizens, because that is who she is concerned about, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Hadassa, what do you say? Just imagine. I don't even know, we haven't discussed what are your thoughts with respect to this special zone situation. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
First of all, it is not surprising. It is not surprising that the Senate vote that way and that the bill failed. It is unfortunate. It is sad, because the Prime Minister specifically said that this is not about, it's not about race. It's not about targeting certain constituencies. It is about allowing the people who live in certain areas, who are literally living under duress because of the proliferation of crime that are in those communities. This was for those people, to allow those communities to breed. And to, yes, and to get rid of the crime in those areas. And it is very hypocritical as well of the PNM. Let me talk about the senators as well. A lot of people they get really angry when we say that these are not independent senators. When you look at the way that they were appointed, when you look at the way that they have been aligned in the past, it is very, very clear that this was an attempt to stack the Senate in order to get these types of outcomes, right? To make sure that nothing happens and nothing changes, and to make it very difficult for this current administration to get things done. But like Esther said, we have a great prime minister, and she is going to find a workaround. She's going to find a loophole, and we are going to get things done to get help to these communities. But I really wanted to point out the hypocrisy, because they keep talking about targeting these communities when that is not the case. They talk about these communities as if they care about it. And when you look at these communities, when you look at the corporations, the regional corporations that are attached to these communities, who are now fighting because they're saying that they have been underfunded and they're not getting enough money, when they have already proven that when they have way more money, they still underperform. They still don't collect the garbage. They still don't do what they're supposed to do for the communities. These are the most underserved communities, the most disrespected, the most dilapidated, the most rundown communities. And they keep talking about it like if they care about it, but their actions have proven that they don't give a damn, right? I hope the producer has the clip, but I wanted to play a clip of Barry Padarat in Parliament addressing Kareem Marcel, talking about this same issue and the hypocrisy of, if you love your community so much, why did you leave it? Can I get that clip, please, Mr. Producer?
Member, may I remind you that coming into government in 2015, there was a program under the Ministry of the People and Social Development that was crafted to assist single mothers, female-headed households, youth, the elderly, and persons inclusive of children with disabilities. The member for Chaguanas East will recall this very fondly, because we were able to empower those most vulnerable, particularly children with disabilities. You know what they did when they came in 2015, Mr. Speaker? They disbanded the entire program. But that is PNM for you. That is what they did to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, inclusive of the most vulnerable, the children with disabilities in our nation. That is what they did.
Thank you so much. That is not exactly the clip, David, but I know he's going to get it for me. But that is also another example as well of the pattern of abandonment that happens under the PNM, where they say they care about you, but the things that are supposed to help you, the things supposed to support single mothers, the things that are supposed to uplift the most vulnerable, people who are disabled and have disabilities, including children and old people. Whatever it is good, once the UNC did it, they get rid of it. I think the clip is ready. You can go ahead and play it now, David. Why is this clip against me tonight? Anyway, I think we will come back to it later, but that was my contribution on it. And like I said, it is very sad. It is very disheartening, because we have a chance once and for all to eradicate crime in these areas, and to give the people in these communities a chance, for a better type of livelihood, for a better type of living. When you are living in a crime infested area, your movements are limited, you fear for your life, you don't want your children to go outside and play. It is not the type of livelihood that you want to have for your family, right? It causes PTSD, it causes stress, it causes trauma, right? And this is the type of relief that the prime minister wants to give these communities, and they refuse. I think the clip is ready.
They drove this nation through the worst crime wave of our recent history, leaving fear and instability in communities across the country. And today we have to ask members of the opposition, what did you do? You speak in your motion about at-risk communities. What is happening in those at-risk communities? But the member for Laventille West spoke for 45 minutes and never once said, between the period 2015 to 2025, what the party that he supports and is a part of did while in government to address the systematic challenges. You know, Mr. Speaker, I always say in this House, and I know the opposition don't like to hear it, but I will repeat it, and I stand by it. Many of your constituencies have voted nothing but PNM in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And you look at the conditions, the physical conditions, Mr. Speaker, in the area of works and transport, in the area of public utilities, in the area of social development, in the area of education, and you have kept many of those same at-risk communities in the destitution and squalor. I saw the member for Laventille West. He ran out of the chamber, but he beat his chest proudly that he's from the Beatum. If you were so proud to be from the Beatum, why did you move out of the Beatum? Why did you not stay to fight for your community?
And I rest my case. That is PNM in true fashion, right? They will beat down every motion. They will not support any initiative, but their track record shows that they have left their communities in swallow. And not only that, they have moved out of their communities as soon as they get a little position and a little bit of money. So if these communities are so good, why don't you want to live there? Back to you, Esther.
Well, you said it. You could not have said it better. This is the modus operandi of the PNM. This is the modus operandi of the PNM. They talk through their mouth, and I don't know where it goes to, because what Minister Padarat is saying is the facts. You see, they talk about these communities, but they leave, they should stay there and fix it. But as they get a little bit of money, they leave them there to fend for themselves. The criminal activities, if it's so bad, you all should stay and fix it. But you know what? Everything that the UNC would have put in place through our Prime Minister, they dismantle it. From 2010 to 2015, it was a joint government. They dismantled it when they came into power. You know why? They don't care about the citizens. All who they care about is their financiers. They don't even care about some of their family members. It's the one who was suck up to them, they probably would. all right? And then you have some clowns around who would side with them and say they're independent. Independent of what? Independent of what? You all are independent of the good that the UNC government wants to do for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. This is why those senators would not have voted. You trying to tell me, if you all had concerns, you all could have highlighted it, whatever, with respect to this also. But to actually turn it down, something that could have worked for us, but no. You all prefer that the people suffer, you wicked set of people. There's a scripture I am looking for in Proverbs chapter 27. And I think it is verse 9 or something. I'm trying to find it because I want to read it. This is what the PNM is all about, right? Oil and perfume make the heart glad, so does the sweetness of a friend's counsel that comes from the heart. Do not abandon your own friend and your friends. It's not that I'm looking for. But I would find it before the show is over. And I'm going to read it. That is the PNM. That is how they are. Okay? You all have to understand the PNM doesn't care one thing about you, right? They don't care. I want producer to play a clip that I send with respect to land for the landless under Minister Saddam. Producer, you have that clip? I want them to listen to what this government is doing for them. They would have never gotten this under the PNM, not in a lifetime, but I want them to listen.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago presents the Land for the Landless program to be administered by the Land Settlement Agency under the umbrella of the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs. This program was created to empower low and middle income citizens, state employees, and recent tertiary graduates by providing a pathway to residential land at a subsidized cost. Successful beneficiaries will receive a long-term lease of 199 years. This program is being implemented on a phased basis, and you will be informed of all available sites for allocation during the rollout of each phase. You are invited to submit a single or joint application form. To qualify, applicants must be 18 years and older, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, not be owners or part owners of land or property in Trinidad and Tobago, have a combined monthly income of no more than $30,000. This excludes senior citizens pension and national insurance scheme grants, and not be recipients of any government or state housing subsidies. Applications must be submitted online via the Land Settlement Agency's website or mobile app during a specified application period. This will be advertised across all Land Settlement Agency's social media platforms. An application guide will be made available to assist you in completing the application form. To complete the application, applicants will need the following mandatory documents: computerized birth certificate, national identification card, a recent job letter, and where necessary, a tertiary level certificate. On the application form, you will be required to select an appropriate application category. You will be given the opportunity to choose 2 preferred locations. Applicants must have a valid email address and contact information. Once you have submitted a successful application, you will be emailed a digital receipt containing a unique reference number. Incomplete applications will not be accepted. For applicants who require assistance, regional application hubs will be made available at convenient locations throughout Trinidad. Look out for further details on all social media platforms. The Land for the Landless program, a pathway to home ownership. Secure land, secured future.
Land for the landless. The PNM Anybody who wished to tell me that the PNM would do something like this, would make this a priority, send a message. If you know of that, you send a message, because they don't care about those who doesn't have. As a matter of fact, what the PNM does is take away from the poor man who doesn't have. They still come to take away what little they do have, but not this government. So I really, really, really congratulate Minister Saddam Hussein and his team, and of course the ultimate leader, the great one, our Prime Minister. This is an initiative, and people, get yourself, if you do not have land, go onto the site, see if you're qualified, get yourself ready, get yourself qualified, so that you can acquire a parcel of land. When you have land, you are wealthy. I know that we as African people, we don't understand that. But when you have land, you are wealthy. You could have money and still be poor. But when you have land, you are wealthy. I want to move on to a clip, producer, where this killing took place with Joshua Samru and Kia Silly. Now, this might sound a little controversy, but this has nothing to do with UNC or PNM. It might sound controversial, but it has nothing to do with UNC nor the PNM. This has to do with the wickedness of individuals who are in the police service. And I want us to consider that this could have been your brother and your sister. Let us not jump up and talk foolishness right now, because a lot of people is talking things, and this is in no way attacking the government of the day, all right? Because the police service is supposed to be independent. Now, I don't know what transpired before, and I'm not going to go into details because they said there's going to be an investigation. But the truth is, how on God's earth could I look at a video with a man surrendering his hands up, his face out of the car window, and the police letting go bullets on them, that they killed the man and the woman is paralyzed? And this same scenario, someone I saw put it up in 2023, was done. Is it because these police officers in the young days, their parents was buying guns for them with water gun to blah, 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 blah? Is it because of that? Because 25, I don't care what they say. We saw, it doesn't matter what transpired before. What we as citizens saw is that this man was surrendering himself. So even if he was involved in some kind of activity, criminal or otherwise, the right thing would have been the car crash. The man's hands was up in the air. So whether he did wrong or not, the police officers were not, look how they're shooting up this car. You think this is human being? These people have to have some kind of demon on them to be doing things like that. When Mr. Floyd, George Floyd in America, the police knee was on his neck and he was killed. We riot all over the world. We get up. This is similar to it, because I am seeing somebody surrendering themselves. And then on top of it, for the commissioner of police to make the statement that he made, I think it was erroneous. I think, listen to me, I really believe if the commissioner of police could say that he is not going to suspend those police officers until, until the investigation is taken place, and that they're going to counsel them, I think he should go into the prison, and all those people who shoot and kill people, take them out and counsel them. You hear what I am saying? Because you cannot be serious commissioner of police. You can, and I'm saying it again, this has nothing to do with PNM UNC government. This is too blatant. Those police officers need to be suspended. They should not continue to work. And the incident in 2023, that police officer, I understand, who killed in the same manner, is still employed. So the police service, Mr. Gary, what is his name? Gary Griffith, said that we should not, hate on the police service, and we should give them some grace. But how much grace? If that was my brother, how was I going to feel if that was my sister lying down in a hospital bed, paralyzed, and whether or not she did something? I am saying the police is to protect and serve and to bring some order, not to kill people like that. This is what we are seeing, and we are angry about that action. Okay? And on top of it, the commissioner of police made it worse because I believe there is a process. You should not make a statement like that. Who is you, commissioner of police, to say that you will not suspend them, you will not allow them to be suspended, but to counsel? Then go into the prisons, and all those young people who have killed people, they definitely need to be counseled. Take them out and counsel them. That's what you have to do. But you can't make those kind of statements. That is a serious thing, because I'm saying, if that was my brother, if these people are innocent, God help us all. Because we don't know. And whatever they would have done, I am saying, that wasn't the way to execute nobody. That is an execution, assassination. That is what you call an assassination. And people of Trinidad and Tobago, please hear me. And don't get me wrong, you know. If they do the crime, they must do the time. They must be punished. But in a case like this, whatever they would have done, what we as citizens saw is that their hands were lifted in surrender. There was no gun there. The man's face was facing the window out for them to see. He was surrendering. You all was supposed to go around the vehicle. Look how the man stopped and look how far, and all it is shooting. That is not right. I am not going to condone that. I am not supporting anything that anybody would say that these people were right. And the commissioner of police now would say that you're not suspending them, but you are going to counsel them. Listen, this is going to cause people to be very upset. Commissioner of police, you need to think about what you said, because in the first instance, the police officers give you a report that was untrue. It was an untrue report, because I ain't seeing nobody shooting from that car. All you're seeing is bullets. Look, the man had to pull back in his hand. A set of wicked people. There is wicked people in the force as well. All over there is wicked people, and that is total wickedness. That is total wickedness. I am not happy about it. And again, I am saying, this has nothing to do with the government of the day. And I heard that the Prime Minister saying that they need to have camera. And I am saying, I am endorsing it. Like yesterday, these police officers need to have cameras on them, because we know, we are aware of wicked police officers. I have seen it. But I am always careful. If a police officer stop me, I give them the regards and the respect, whether they're wrong or right, because they have on uniform. I'm not going to allow no police officer to rough me up. Whatever they say, I comply. But trust me, I will deal with it after in the courts. And this is what I would ask some of you to do. But in this case, these people wasn't given the opportunity to deal with nothing, because they surrender, and these police officers intended to kill them. We don't know what is below the surface, but something didn't add up there for me, and I am very disturbed about it. Okay? I'm very disturbed, and I'm calling on my Prime Minister that she will intensify that investigation, ensure that whatever comes out, and the audacity for the commissioner to say it's a longer video and you're not going to show the rest. We want to see all. The citizens of this country want to see the whole video. Whatever was captured, we want to see all. We are not stupid people. We are not illiterate people. We want to see everything. What is there to hide? You already killed the gentleman, and the woman is paralyzed. She's paralyzed. If that was my child, my sister, my aunt, or whoever, I wasn't going to be happy. That is somebody's child. That is somebody's daughter and somebody's son. And I am saying the police officers need to be held accountable. They're supposed to be suspended until you could counsel them after, counsel them by all means. Counsel them. But they're not supposed to be still in that service, all right? Because they did something that is erroneous. I am totally disgusted by what I saw. And I am calling on our Honorable Prime Minister, the woman with a heart for the people, to allow this investigation to be thorough. We're not accepting that like that. And this has nothing to do with governance of our prime minister and her team. So let this be an example for other policemen, because all of them will think, those who are rugged and rogue will think they can do the same thing and get away and be counseled. We don't want that, because if you could take policemen, let me say this, to whom much is given, much is required. And they using uniform, they are supposed to do better. They was not supposed to be shooting like they're going, like shooting going out of style, 24, 25 rounds. This is craziness. What kind of country are we living in? We're not accepting that. We're not accepting that. And the commissioner of police, you need to retract your statement, and you need to retract what you want to do. I'm talking about counseling them, get them out of the force, put them on suspension until the investigation is completed. I am not happy about this at all, but I am saying if and when the investigation is completed, we want a full report. But I'm saying even now, they should not be in the police service. They should not be. I want to thank our Prime Minister for looking into this. I know I heard that she's saying that they should be wearing their body cam. That is important. We are living in a wicked time. And sometimes these police officers, they have grievances with people. We don't know what took place and why they had to shoot to kill like that. Because the people, the gentlemen, surrender. And I am not supporting this at all. Even if I have to lose my life, I am not supporting that. We need to do better. And Commissioner of Police, you need to retract your statement, and you need to retract your thoughts and what you want, your decision that you are making, to have them still stay in the service and to be counseled. If you are going to counsel them, I am saying take all of those young black African children who kill and start counseling them, because surely they need counsel. They have been brought up in family that is disoriented. They have brought up in an environment where that is all they see. I have been in the trenches, little 4 years old, telling me, Pastor, you thief that van. His father is thief. That's what he see, and that's what he know. So when they commit crime, counsel them too. We need to go into the trenches and get these young ones before they end up, dead on the street, and counsel them. Don't tell me these big men who were trained to be a police officer, you want to counsel them and not suspend them? Come on, I am not accepting that. And I know there are other citizens who are not going to accept it, simply because we have family members. And I am not saying, I am not saying that they probably didn't do something wrong. But that wasn't the way. That assassination should not have happened. It should not have happened. Let's take a break.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and of course the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, how are you?
Hi. I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Welcome back to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, where are you? Hadassa, I just got a little bit emotional because what I saw there, it could have been my family member. And like I said, they could have been involved in something, but I don't know, what are your thoughts based on what we saw on the CCTV? That could not have been the way for the police to dealt with those two people in that vehicle.
I agree. The thing about it is that our country has endured a lot of unrest. Um, on the citizen side and on the government side and on the judicial side and everything. We don't need police officers who are behaving like the mafia and running around and executing people. As far as I'm concerned, what I saw in that video was murder. And we as citizens, we should not tolerate that. And yes, I agree, this is not a PNM or UNC issue, right? Because we know that we have a police service that goes back many, many decades, and we have a lot of entrenched problems in the police service. And I have to say, after all the chaos that the police service has endured, we know how Gary Griffith was ousted, and that was unfortunate. And we saw what happened with Ula Yearwood. What was her name? Just let me get correct.
Ola,
Ula
Ola
Yearwood
something.
Christopher, and how she ended her career almost in shame, the way that the PNM dealt with her and everything. And when this guy was appointed, Alistair Guevara, I was like, I'm always one to say I will support you if you're coming with new ideas and whatnot. And I feel so disappointed that he has not tried to distance himself or to say that that these police officers are going to be prosecuted or investigated or whatnot. That was murder, and it was unconscionable. It was, I don't know, that was the worst thing that I've seen in Trinidad and Tobago, because this is not the wild, wild west. And we have always had a strained relationship between the citizens and the police because of things like this. And you cannot mend and you cannot improve the relationships between the citizens and police officers if you are doing things like this. You are not going to get the confidence of and the support that you need from citizens who sometimes might have valuable information and things like that. We have endured enough at the hands of the police. And because what is going on here? What was wrong with due process? The car was, he had nowhere to go. They had nowhere to go. The car was crashed. If you see in the video, he tried to turn the wheel there. The car wasn't going anywhere because of how it was in the drain, right? So he put his hands out in surrender, and you'll kill him like that? What happened to due process? No matter what he did, he was supposed to see his day in court. He was supposed to go through the system, and a judge was supposed to pronounce whether guilty or innocent or how much ever years in jail or whatever the case may be. Because if it was us, and if there was some type of misunderstanding, you would like to be given grace, that you get a chance to say, hey, I am innocent, or there's a misunderstanding. Something is very fishy here, that they had to kill that young man like that, and it is very, very disturbing. It's very, very disturbing, and I don't think we as citizens should accept this, right? And I'm really disappointed in the commissioner, because we were hoping for once that we would start to get some objective and some the type of leadership in that position that this country so desperately needs. I hope he changes his position. I hope he changes his position. And I know already that there was a tender that went out to get body cams for the police officers, and they need to start to wear it, right? So that they cannot lie and say that we didn't see the whole video and whatnot, because we can't be having this happening. No, 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 no. We can't be having this happening. Back to you, Esther.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm saying to myself, if there wasn't that CCTV, we would have had no choice but to accept what the commissioner of police said in the first instance, right? Because that wasn't what he said first. And then secondly, you come now to talk about when people get outraged that you're not going to suspend them or fire them, whatever, you're going to counsel them. Now, if you want to counsel, if that is the trend you are going, when the other young fellas kill one another, or when they kill and the ones who stay alive, counsel them too. Because they all need counseling. All of us, we need to be counseled at some point in time. I do not accept that statement for whatever it is. And like I said, the police agency is supposed to be independent. So this has nothing, this particular incident has nothing to do with the government of the day. What is going to happen and what should happen is that the government, the prime minister, need to insist that this be investigated and the truth comes out, the real truth. That's what we need. We need that as a country, as a nation, because a lot of people on the ground is very upset based on what we have seen. If there's more to it, there is more to it. That still does not justify that assassination that took place by those police officers. No, we can't. We all do wrong from time to time. We all make errors and mistakes. We do a lot of crap. Do we want to lose our lives for that? Don't we deserve to have another chance? Or don't we deserve, when you do something that bad, to go to court and let justice prevail? But the thing is, thanks to the PNM, I have to blame the PNM because our justice system is no good. It is no good. And I know under this government, the justice system is going to change, because this will not be tolerated. And I know the Prime Minister is not going to allow that to just ride off. I know she's not going to do that. I'm not in her head. But because of who she is, I know she's not going to allow that to ride like that. So, you know, I want to get to the other clip that we have, producer. Let's get to the next clip.
Doubles and coffee. I hope you all paid attention to the Joint Select Committee on State Enterprises yesterday. Whenever you see a PNM, run them. Whenever you hear a PNM, close your ears. Did you all hear? And it wasn't an entire discussion, just 2 hours and 26 minutes. And imagine the PNM and Foster Cummins. Foster Cummins, who thought he was going to be the next leader of the PNM, who had gotten a graphic designer to do a logo for him and was building up a caucus in the PNM to move after Rowley to take over the PNM to potentially be the Prime Minister of this country. It wasn't enough that he, Foster Cummins, and companies associated with him previously and with his family members, his wife, his children, and so on. Foster Cummins, yesterday, it came to light once again that even, forget HDC, forget $250,000 to cut grass in Couva, forget $500 million in contracts, that Foster Cummins at MTS, and he tried to pretend that somehow it was okay if you don't go up for electoral politics. So he was trying to differentiate between being a senator in the government of Trinidad and Tobago and being a minister and an MP duly elected. There's no difference. When you're in the government and you're in a decision-making position and you take an oath to do well, properly, by manner, to all manner of man without fear or favor, to do your job, to uphold the Constitution, which means that the resources of the country must be utilized for the masses, for the most, that there should be equity in distribution and opportunity for all. Foster Cummins and his family, $500 million, $500 million in work for his family. And he's still there, swearing on the Bible to be a PNM senator in opposition now, waiting and hoping for a next go-around. But yesterday, when asked, the new chairman and board of MTS, and when permanent secretaries were asked about a situation that existed and has existed and police supposed to be investigated, where companies associated with Foster Cummins, and then he came out just before election or just after election in 2020. He took himself off of being a director because he went into, as he says, electoral politics to go up for the Lauketa Talparo seat. But just before the election in 2020, there were companies that Foster Cummins was associated with. Pical Services, Cummins and Associates, Rivulet Investment Group, that were doing contracts and had won contracts with MTS. Remember, the chairman of MTS was Rowley Gill, Rowley campaign manager from since he's small. And the weird and funny thing is why also Venture Credit Union has questions to answer. That there were payments that were due to these companies for work done, for goods and services provided. Okay. But the payments did not go from MTS to the company, to Pical Services or to Cummins and Associates or to Rivulet Investment Group. It didn't go there. The payments went directly to Venture Credit Union, meaning that the MTS Finance Department, the MTS Board, the MTS CEO, the MTS whoever in charge of making payments, authorized payments to be made to Venture Credit Union, even though MTS had no contract whatsoever with Venture Credit Union. When I asked permanent secretaries in general if this followed any sort of financial rules, procurement, transparency, accountability, process to preserve taxpayers' money, each and every permanent secretary said they had never seen that before. And if you understand procurement and issuance of state contracts and the process for payment and so on, you would know how corrupt it is, how wrong it is, how criminal it is.
I don't have to say much more. That's the PNM, corrupted to the core. And majority of these, just imagine, Venture Credit Union, they would want to take themselves off. But listen, if I, as a citizen, go to Venture Credit Union and I have an account with them, and I do certain things, if I bring $1 million, I'm sure they call in the police. They will have some alert because I am not accustomed bringing $1 million into my account. Listen, for those of you who don't like it, and for those of you who don't know it, the PNM is one of the most corrupted government that has ever existed, I guess, in the whole Caribbean. They do what they want, they do how they want it, and they have the gall and the belly and the balls to want to point finger at the UNC. The UNC who does work for the citizen. I am not saying every minister in the UNC is perfect. I am not even perfect. The only person that walks on the face of the earth, in my opinion, and based on the Bible I read, is Jesus Christ. None of us is perfect. But the PNM, don't talk about that name, Foster Cummings. I have heard so much when it comes to the women and what they had to do to get a job or to get money or whatever. I have heard about the contracts. It's not now. That man called Foster Cummings and then he's going to shout, which God did us be calling? Which name of God did us be calling after they do their wickedness? You all can tell me which God did us be shouting to? It has to be the devil from the pit of hell. Because they don't care about the citizens. And I would preach this until you all get it. The PNM, majority of the PNM people, the people who are in leadership in the PNM, they don't care about you. They care about filling their pockets. They care about making themselves feel good. And they cannot be compared with the people, the ministers in the United National Congress Party that is governing this country now. They cannot put their foot on our honorable Prime Minister's shoe. They can't. I am not saying that we all don't do things. We are not perfect. But the level and the length that these people has gone, they're wicked to the core. Not only are they fraudulent and doing fraudulent things, they use women, they use the young men. They are the ones, they have the bad boys with them. Instead of they counsel them and put them on the right path. No. Have programs to help these young people walk a path that is realistic for their growth and empowerment. No. You will use them to do your dirty and wicked work. And then all you want to talk now, as though you're so concerned about the citizens of this country. For a decade, you all didn't concern. You all were full in your pocket. You all make everything run down. The police service gone through, the fire service gone through, the hospitals gone through, Ministry of Education. Every government agency is in a total mess. And all you want to talk? Look, Prime Minister, stop healing these people and let us stay dumb. Stop laying your hands on them and healing them. Let them stay dumb because they need to remain dumb. All of them have a voice now. They never stand with the people. They never give the teachers what they want. They didn't give public servants what they want. Now that you are giving them, and those of you who are not standing with this government, copper smoke all your pipe, because you'll never have a government that is concerned and that is doing everything in its power to bring this economy back together so that you can have a better life. You and I could have a better life. And every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, you all are wicked to yourself. You are seeing what this government is doing. You are experiencing it. I have been seeing the people under Ministry of Rural Development. Minister Khadijah is doing a fantastic job after they root out the corruption. And I saw her on the front page, I think was Express. I think it was. They're going to allow the persons who did the wrong to be, I mean, the minister can't do it, but they give the evidence of what they saw to the police, and it's up to the police now. But you know what? All of them is PNM. Most of them, they're not going to take action. People just say, but they want to see them lock up and see them lock up, but they wouldn't see them lock up, right? URP Pro begins, and the evidence are there. This is what the police service need to get their act together and deal with these things, not run down and shoot and kill people. Wicked set of officers, some of you, because it's not all, when I'm talking, it's not all the officers, but a masses of them, especially those who was getting the contract and getting the cut from the PNM. But this will change. You know why? God is not sleeping. And those of us who know to pray, pray. Don't be like those hypocrites who telling you, but we serving we representing and serving a UNC with God, false God, and whatever they want to say. I don't even take them on. But all they're serving the PNM. Who they serving? They serving the true and living God? No. You ever hear the former Prime Minister say, put God in front and walk behind? No. But all you want to talk, all you can talk as much as all you want. This woman here, this woman who preaches the word of God, all you can't touch me. All you can say all you want, I don't care. I love my Prime Minister. I love what she's doing for our country, and I will never go against what she's doing, even if she's wrong, because salvation is for all of us. So I don't want to hear none of you. I really don't want to hear none of you. When she stood up and she said what she said in the parliament about Stuart Young, Small Pin, everybody talk and row. But when Small Pin called the nasty word against her, all it didn't row. All they stood up and all they pretend, all they didn't hear themselves. They were deaf. But all of a sudden they can hear. She has healed the brokenhearted. She has cleansed them. They can see and they can hear. All they leave my Prime Minister alone. You hear? Hadassa? I know this is a handful, but I tell you, a lot of craziness is happening in this country, and the evidence of it is now, after 9 months, you're seeing everything that is happening. You're hearing everything that is happening. And I want to say thank you to Minister Khadijah, because I am seeing the savannas are being cut. I am seeing things starting to happen. You all just have to have patience. Those of you who have been calling me because you have no education and what you're accustomed to is cutting the grass and whatever, have a little patience. Things is going to happen in your path. Yeah?
Yes, exactly, Esther. I mean, I agree with everything that you said, but that is PNM for you. They hoarded all the spoils for themselves, and they allowed the people to suffer. And it was massive corruption. We spoke about the corruption that was unveiled in HCC, that was unveiled in URP and CPEP, that was the reason for these programs to be disbanded and revamped to some extent. Even the National Quarry Company, where I understand that they were supposed to employ 700 persons, and when you look at the books under PNM, there were 18,000 persons drawing a salary, and the company did not have the revenue or the productivity to justify that amount of payout. And when you look closer, it was PNM friends and families and financiers. When people say that they didn't want the UNC, and they wanted to vote for PNM. This is why, because they cannot justify wanting to vote for PNM, because crime was high, and like Esther pointed out, education was in a mess, healthcare was in a mess, our roads were in a mess, crime was at an all-time high, but there were so many people eating our food. There were so many people eating our food that they did not care they could turn their eyes to the suffering of the masses because they were good. And that is the selfishness that the PNM has fostered and has encouraged over the years. And I always used to talk about it. Why have we gotten so harsh and so unkind and cruel as a society? And we understand it now. We understand it now. And they will never focus on the things that are actually happening. I am so happy for the patrons in the savannah who were able to be part of um the flavor city, what they call it in Port of Spain, right, where they get to make money. They're talking about the fact that the amount of money that was saved, that was not lost due to corruption for this carnival, that the persons who usually clean are going to get a 300% increase in their stipend, right? So this is what happens when you root out corruption. The small man actually benefits. We spoke earlier today about the Land for the Landless program. This is a program that I applied to for many, many years. Of course, I know my application would have gotten lost there, but I feel like I'm very hopeful now. And people don't understand how very powerful these initiatives are, what it means for a regular person when you look at what you earn and when you look at the cost of housing for you to walk into home ownership, being able to have land at a subsidized price to get build a home. That is so empowering. The PNM didn't care about those things. We know in a few months' time that the DBay campus, UE campus is going to be open. The works are being done to clean it and get it ready. These are the tangible things that people can feel that are actually happening, that touches every individual, right? So you cannot beat Kamala Prasad Bisasa when it comes to performance. And she does what she says she's going to do. The PNM is very good at talking the talk, but they cannot walk the walk. They cannot stand up against the giant that is Kamala Prasad Bisasa. So people could talk and people could yap and people could say whatever it is they want. But I am telling people that for the first time in my life, you know what I liken it to? I am a very jittery person when it comes to drivers. And you know what it's like, you're in a car with somebody and they're driving fast and reckless and you can't relax? That is how I felt under the PNM for the last 10 years. And now I am so glad that we have a competent, safe driver, right? Where I feel I could recline my seat and sleep, because that is the amount of confidence that I have in Kamala Prasad Bisasa and her competency and her government. We are back to sensible governance in Trinidad and Tobago, and I am so excited to see where we are going to be in the next 5 years. Back to you, Esther.
Listen, I know the masses of people are supporting this government. There are many who are supporting the UNC. There is a few clown. I think producer just told me somebody asked if I'm taking drugs. Yes, I just take plenty drugs, good drugs, healthy drugs. You understand? That has head high. They have my brain mighty high for the truth. Keep my eyes clear and my ears open to hear. That's the drugs I take, not the drugs to have me stupid and to have me, delusional. That's not the drugs I'm taking. I'm taking a drug that causes me to see, to hear, and to understand. That's the drug I'm taking. And yes, I'm mad. I'm mad against the PNM and what they have done to this country. The PNM sycophants who are in authority, not those of you who down there and don't know better, and don't even understand what you all are supporting. But yet you're supporting them and come in to us to get help. And those of you who are going to apply for the land, even though you're supporting the PNM, you're coming under the UNC to apply for everything. You should not do it because you're catching your royal still. After 10 years, you should be in a better place. That right now you're in suffering. For 10 years, what did they do for this country? You want to know if I'm mad? I'm mad against the PNM and the cultish behavior. I'm mad against them 8 senators who didn't see it fit to know that the citizens need help. The crime situation is bad, but you know what? They are happy for us to remain in a state of depression under crime. because crime worked for them. Every one of them probably have a bandit in their family. So, you know, they don't want that because they will lose their family. And I hope tonight that the citizens who have sense and who probably taking drugs, like somebody asked, and their eyes can see and their ears can hear and they can understand, will understand what the PNM is all about. And those of you who didn't vote for them on April the 28th, that you would never vote for them again. You don't want to vote for us, the UNC, you know, but just don't vote again because they will never do what is right for the citizen. You telling me you have an opposition government who do not see it fit to vote for something. If it didn't work, it didn't work. Well, we would say we tried something and it didn't work. But to actually not vote those senators and talk about independence, you all need to come out of there. I think the whole structure of presidents under the government, the previous government, you know, bringing and appointing senators and talking about independent where? What I really want to say, I can't say here, you know, where in these people's mind and psyche are they independent? Well, if they're independent, at least they would have given a try, a 6 months, say to the government, okay, we're supporting, but this is what we want to see happening. We want a system in place, a committee that is going to overview, you know, the whole process. Because we know there are rogue elements in the police service. We all know that. I've driven in places where I saw police officers are running the blocks of drugs and gone. This place is corrupted, you know, we know that. And who have it so? Who have been in government and governed this country for majority of over 40-something years? Is the PNM. So if you all want to talk about somebody and want to talk about a government, talk about PNM and the foolish, cultish ways. PNM who have bring this country to nothing has caused us to suffer, especially we as the African people. The PNM is the one who's responsible for us having to beg others. Why? They never did anything for us. Everything that they did was to bring us to nothing. But thank God all of us not stupid. All of us not, you know, senile. Thank God all of us are not in that category. But you know what? I am grateful because at the end of the day, all that I am saying and all that we would say, if we don't put our trust in God, for him to even give our Prime Minister wisdom and the understanding to do what she has to do with her ministers to make this place a better place. Crapo smoke our pipe upside down, inside out, all how. Because the PNM, and it doesn't matter who they put as leader, will always be the dictators they are and always will cause the people of this country not to be able to feel proud about being a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago and being proud of their country. It's the PNM, you know. When the UNC is in power, everybody just want to be asking to come back to Trinidad. From the time the PNM is in power, everybody want to leave, including myself. You want to get out of here and go in another man's country. You're faring better. Here, when the PNM is in power, I pray God that the PNM will never see the corridors of power until probably the next 50 years. Well, you know, I don't even think they need to ever come back again. If the UNC do right and they stay focused and they see about the citizens of this country, the PNM, because the PNM don't see about us. The people who needs to be seen about, they don't. The people on the ground, we heard on one of the clip when Minister Parrott was talking about autistic children. I can identify with that. I have that in my family. There was no school. There was nothing. When you have an autistic child, you cannot go to work. Most of the time, it's the mothers who are suffering because you know what? The man just leave and go. And the mother is the one who has to see about this child and nobody cares. Our Prime Minister, then she put things in place and they're going to put things in place again. You know, most mothers with these challenged children are suffering, are begging for food. And when you go to what you call them, social welfare, who gave the little grant, you had to beg for it. They had to come to see what underwear you have on. I'm talking about under the PNM regime. They had to come to see if you have 10 underwear, if you have 5, what color it is, what you're sucking in the night. They have to come to see everything before they could give you what, $1,300 for the child? And what about the mother who cannot go to work? If you have to pay rent, come on, man. I know this is going to change. So I'm not going to be upset right now because it is going to change. So help us, God, tonight, I pray. I pray for our Prime Minister, for strength, for wisdom, for clarity, for the understanding by the Holy Spirit for her to guide and to lead this country, to bring relief to the citizens who are underprivileged, who cannot help themselves, who are voiceless. We got to understand that. There is no one better than our Prime Minister to run this country now and to bring it back to a state that is comfortable for all of us in our little way, in our big way, whatever. And I pray, God, that you all would not take, I don't want to say God out your thought because plenty of you don't have God in your thoughts. But don't take the devil out now. Maybe if all you have the devil in all your thoughts, keep it. And do not vote for the PNM again. Do not, because you will go back into that realm and worse. Hadassa, time has gone. Talk to us. I'm fed up with the PNM, you know.
Yeah. They're like,
But we
I don't
bury
know,
them,
like,
girl. We didn't bury them, people. We didn't bury them. What happened? Like fire went and bones was risen, something. What happened?
this ghost,
The
they're
dead body
haunting
going
us.
through the motion? Oh, Lord. 70th anniversary. I wonder if they had 70 people.
No, I mean, I don't think we need to worry because there's evidence that they're dead. They really are dead.
I bury them.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I want to, like, encourage the citizens to give the current administration a chance, because what I have found is that people tend to be very long suffering with the PNM, but they get very antsy and impatient with anybody else really, really quickly. And that is not fair. And we need to give the administration a chance. You need to allow these new initiatives and policies to settle so that it can actually trickle down to you and have some positive impact um, on your life, right? We did not fare well under the PNM. So we need to decide that we're not turning back and we are going to continue um, to follow the rising sun or the light of the UNC, because they were grim days behind us. There's so many things for us to look forward to. Everywhere I look, I remember when Keith Rowley talked about, oh, there's nothing special about doubles, just trying to be miserable and divisive. But everywhere you look, when the Prime Minister of India was here, it doubles that he tried. Her Excellency from, I think it was Dubai, was here, and I saw she was going around with Jillian John and looking to see how we can strengthen the relationship between Trinidad and the United Arab Emirates. And it's doubles that they tried, right? So I feel like we have had a time of just sadness and a lot of trauma and a lot of chaos, and we need to embrace what we have now. It is better. It is better. I am seeing my friends who I have never heard at all complain about roads and different things that they just totally ignore under PNM, quarreling about this and quarreling about that, and almost like you're trying to make yourself unhappy. Unhappy. When if you take a closer look, a lot of my friends who are teachers will now benefit from the students who were able to get laptops. That was an amazing initiative, right? The giving homework is going to be easier. Students be able to do their research and do their homework is going to be easier. We need to count all these things as wins. The reduction of the price of drugs and the CDAP program being expanded and maternity leave and paternity leave being expanded. These are things that actually impacts people's lives, right? And if you allow yourself to listen to PNM propaganda, you're not going to see and you're not going to be able to enjoy all the things that are happening every single day in real time. You know how good that feels? Under PNM, every morning you used to wake up, it was bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news on the paper. And when I wake up now, every day, Khadijah did something amazing. Eliza Crew did something amazing. Saddam did something amazing. Van Dan did something amazing. The- these MPs and senators, they are working. Our prime minister is working. She made great choices, and all the people who are part of this government, they are working for us. People are getting water. I think I talked about it on this show that I was living here for so long, and the last 3 or 4 years I started to get really bad water problems, and I was confounded. And I was like, how is it that somebody could be doing something for a long period of time and get worse at it? No water. Trouble. You had to get up 3 o'clock in the morning when water come to wash wares and to wash clothes and to flush the toilet. It was horrible and miserable. And since the UNC won, I have not had any water problems. And I know a lot of people could testify to the same thing. Our lives are better. The country is safer. You can feel it. Food prices are going down. There's a lot happening. So that's what I'm going to encourage everybody to cheer up and to actually look forward to good things happening, because things are happening. Back to you, Esther.
Yes, well, we have come to the end of this segment, and like Hadassa said, when you get up, Saddam is doing something good, this one is doing something good, but not only are they doing something good, but they are doing something that the citizens can benefit from. If you apply yourself, if you do what has to be done, you would benefit as citizens, because all that is being done under this government is for the citizens, whether you're underprivileged, in the middle, on top, everybody is benefiting in a real way. It's not just the top, the hierarchies are benefiting as under the PNM. Everybody is benefiting, and if you have not yet benefited, you will soon be benefiting in some way and or the other. And you know, we can't say that because, listen, like Hadassa said, you didn't have water, and I know in my area it's the same thing. And since that, I haven't had a problem since the UNC is in government, all right? The electricity bill has not gone up. And many things are, you know, being, even the land for the landless, they are subsidizing. They are subsidizing half, or in some cases more than half, on the cost, so that citizens will be able to acquire the land. And I'm saying to us, don't mind, you know, I'm cool, I'm calm. I just was so uptight just now with the foolishness, you understand? Things that can work for us, the independent senators. They're not independent. I don't care what nobody have to say, they're not independent. They do what the PNM asks them to do. But God is not sleeping, he is seeing, and like we said before, knowing our Prime Minister, she's going to find a way to get around that, to ensure that this program come to fruition so that they can try it and see how it's going to work for our citizens. But you know what, producer? The crime rate has already gone down, you know. It has already gone down by 45% since we have been in power. It has already gone down. So they could jump how they want. I can tell you, when our Prime Minister decide that this is going to happen, it must happen. She would put pressure on everybody to do what has to be done to ensure that the citizens benefit. So again, I am thankful, I'm grateful. My co-host, I love you. I am grateful for you being on the program tonight. I feel good, yes. And you know what? I am grateful for our Prime Minister. I am grateful for all those who put our citizens first, not about their own agenda, but our citizens and those who are working to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place for all of us, not just for UNC supporters, even the PNM supporters, right? But I wouldn't say the rest. I'll leave it for next week, God's willing. Have a wonderful night, my viewers, people of Trinidad and Tobago, and wherever else you are, and those of you who commented and those who comment, negative, positive, it doesn't matter what it is. We are happy that you are hearing us. Share the live. Let people hear and know what is taking place in our country. We are not going to suffer. We will not suffer because our Prime Minister says, and we do it, put God in front and you walk behind. Make sure that He is guiding all of us. Until next week, have a great balance of the week, a good weekend. And we're going to see you on Tuesday, God's willing. Goodbye for now. Bye.